Welcome to Kairos Conversations. Today we're going to start an ongoing series where we're going to get to know our teachers here at Kairos Classroom. So we're going to start by interviewing Ryan. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Kairos Conversations. I'm Courtney Trotter, one of your co-hosts and our resident Hebrew enthusiast, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Brian Martin, our New Testament Greek guy. If you're someone who likes to dig into the original languages, wants to know more about Greek and Hebrew resources, or just look at the Bible with new eyes, you have found the right place, because here we want to discover the world of the Bible through the original languages. So if you weren't already aware, we at Kairos Conversations have our main business called Kairos Classroom, where you can take Greek and Hebrew classes online in your pajamas, wherever you are, live instruction with real teachers and students who walk alongside you in that journey. And so if you're interested in that, go over and check out our website at kairosclassroom.com. But today we're going to get to know Ryan, who is our founder and main Greek person for us here at Kairos. So we always get asked a few questions about Ryan anytime we're doing a meeting with somebody or an interview. And so we're going to do that here today as well. So Ryan, how did you get into the biblical languages?
How did I get into the biblical languages? I was excited about them at seminary. I mean, I had no background going into my master's of divinity at Beeson Divinity School, and really liked them right off the bat. Had a lot of fun. It was with all kind of the liberal artsy reading, thinking, writing stuff that I was a music undergrad or something about. I was a percussion performance major. So a lot of the more philosophically or kind of text-driven stuff was hard for me. I grew to love it. Greek and Hebrew felt more like, oh, this is like math. I can do this. And just kind of plug through, memorize the stuff, and get it done. We do things very differently than that here at Kairos, by the way, if you're wondering. But yeah, it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And I think when I got to the point to where I could really read the New Testament on my own and work through a text with good resources that assume your knowledge of the original language, I was like, man, this is great. Really fell in love with it. When I was teaching at the Bilingual Christian University of the Congo, UCBC in DR Congo in Beni, and was teaching mostly theology, church history. And my boss, the dean of the theology faculty, came in and said, Ryan. He actually said Martin, because French speakers have a really hard time saying the name Ryan. At least I was Martin at school, which I was fine with. It was great. He said, Martin, our visiting professor for the Greek class has canceled on us. Can you start teaching Greek 1 next week? Or maybe it was 2 weeks, something like that. And I looked at him and I said, no way. I'm nowhere near ready for that. He was like, there's really not another option. So I went home and pulled mounts off the shelf and kind of worked back through it and learned it and started teaching it and loved it. Loved teaching it. Loved walking students through the language, seeing them learn how to use it in their exegesis, in their reading of the New Testament, and man, never looked back.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's amazing to see that you were just thrown into it. And all of a sudden now this is your career and like what you're kind of known for, and just innovating so many new ideas here at Kairos Classroom and how to teach Greek better and how to kind of change the way Greek is taught around in the field, in the discipline as well. You thought you were a historical theology guy, but you turned out to be a Greek grammarian.
I still like that other side too. I just don't have as much time for it now.
Not as much time.
I'll still talk your ear off about Karl Barth. Just send me an email.
Right. So that gets me wondering, and this is another question we get asked all the time, and I know I get asked this, is how did Kairos Classroom start? So you were in the Congo, you were teaching. So why does Kairos Classroom exist today?
Man, the Lord's good providence, I think, because I never would have seen this. We got back to the United States during the pandemic, and I missed teaching Greek. I had really grown to love it. I was teaching at the university there in Beni, and then in Goma, another city in North Kivu in Congo. I was teaching at a training center, like a pastoral training center. And when we got back to the States, I missed it. And I thought that I had run into a lot of people in the States, in Europe, in Africa, who were not pastors, who had not gone to seminary, but just for one reason or another wanted to learn Greek or Hebrew. And I was like, man, if there really are people out there that are interested in this, maybe I could find them. The internet's pretty cool. Maybe I could like find them on the internet. So I have no business background, no marketing know-how, intuition at all. So got some smart people around me that could help me figure out how to start this, and the interest was really overwhelming. I think another part of the Lord's good providence, this was during the lockdown, the COVID lockdown, so a lot of people were sitting at home looking for something to do. Hey, why don't I learn Greek? I really don't know if we would have been able to get off the ground in another time, in another setting. Of course, that time it was just me. It was before Courtney here and Jesse, who helps us with the business side of things. All these people came in and really helped Kairos become what it is now. But even in those early days, the Lord just put the right people in the classroom and the right people alongside me to help me figure out how to do this. So it really is amazing, and I'm really thankful that everything worked out the way that it did.
Yeah, that's really great. It is kind of unusual. I hear people all the time whenever we tell them the story, like, wow, it's amazing that you started a business during COVID. And it's like, yeah, it is kind of cool. And I know I had my COVID project. I learned how to bake bread, so for
All
some
right.
people, it was learning Greek from Ryan, and you guys gave him enough momentum to keep going. And we realized that, hey, this is something that we could actually take some more people. And so that's how it began, kind of just, I guess, initially,
To my
Brian kind
early
of,
students that are watching this, if any of early Kairos people are watching this, you have no idea how grateful I am to you. Like, you're the reason that this exists right now. There were times that I was just like, man, I need a couple more students to justify this, keep it on going with this. And they always came, and the Lord always provided them. So thank you. I know I've told you that to your face as well, but again, here, thank you.
yeah. And so you initially just kind of reached out on Facebook, right, to find some of these people?
Yeah, Facebook ads and a little bit on Google, but not really. Mostly just Facebook ads of me, just laptop webcam with my bedroom wall behind me. It was it's amazing to think it was just like a few years ago, but
Right.
yeah, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I remember when we like got you your first set of like ring lights or something like that to light you a little bit better. Now we've got a little
It's
bit
like,
better
what is
lighting
this?
situation than that, but
He doesn't look like a ghost anymore. Yeah.
yeah. Right. So that is just a really cool story, and I am obviously so grateful to be able to kind of ride on your coattails into this business that you started in the midst of a pandemic. Like I said, that's just very resourceful and creative, and I'm glad that God gave you that idea and was able to give us those students even before I came along into the business to help sustain it long enough for it to become a huge part of my life as well. So let's see now, Ryan. A lot of people always want to know what we're reading, what books we find interesting, what are we reading, or what do we want to suggest. So, what are you reading right now, and might I be interested in reading it myself?
Yeah, I just pick a couple books that I'm reading kind of several things right now, and I know I don't always do that. I feel like a lot of times there's like one thing that I'm reading and want to get done to get to the next thing, but right now I'm reading a few things. I'm reading Tim Gombas's The Drama of Ephesians. This is a very challenging book for me. I think I grew up reading Ephesians kind of as a like me and my personal salvation and how it relates to what I think and what I believe and what benefits I get from that kind of way. And what he wants to do is push against that and paint the book of Ephesians as a cosmic drama, right? God against the powers of evil, and how victory is found in Christ in that over those powers, and how we are invited to participate in that victory. So taking these ideas that we hold so dear and expanding them to this is the story of God's victory over evil and God's plan to restore all things in Christ, and how I, as someone united with Christ, am invited to participate in that. And that's really exciting. That's we'll put a link down there. But this is Tim Gombas, Drama of Ephesians. Also, really into like discourse and information structure is the nerdy answer. This is the Discourse Grammar of the Greek New Testament by Steve Runge. Questions about word order. What does it matter? What does it mean for things to become before or after the verb? These particles like like day and kai, these conjunctions, and what do they mean for the way we read the text? What is a prepositional phrase coming before the verb different from it coming after the verb? What's the difference between like emphasis and markedness and prominence and all these words that I think used to be swirling around in my head? I feel like I'm getting a better sense of how the language works. So I don't know if you've learned Greek and you want kind of a good like next step. I don't know, maybe in the same way that like the Wallace book is. Do I have that up here? Yeah, in the same way that Wallace is for kind of grammar and intermediate and advanced grammar. This is kind of that same thing for discourse. And I mean, I don't even think like, I mean, both great, both trying to take you to the next level from different angles. So, yeah, definitely enjoying. I've actually already worked through it and I'm working back through it because I need another pass to understand what's going on.
That's really cool. I know that Gambus book is one that you were like, hey, you Michael Heiser fan, Courtney, you need to read this one. Like you were like, Courtney, you're gonna love this one. So I
The
haven't read it yet,
powers. It's all
guys.
about the powers, right?
I haven't read it yet, you guys, but if you're a Michael Heiser fan like me, Ryan suggests that you would probably like it as well. And the discourse grammar, that is like, it seems like all the discussion of people who really love nerding out about Greek language, they're all talking about discourse features. And there's that new tool on Logos, right? That like where you can see
Lexum, like the Lexum Discourse Greek New Testament. And it's awesome. It's marked up like the same style he marks up this book. It's the whole New Testament marked up like that. It's really good. Just to give you all a silly example, like I could say like, I'm drinking my coffee. Or I could say, it's my coffee that I'm drinking. Or I could say, guess what? I'm drinking my coffee. Right? That's really the same information over and over again, but I'm coloring it in different ways and emphasizing different parts. And those would fit at different places within kind of broader conversation. So it's like, hey, what does it look like to read the New Testament like that? To really think about how these things are being said, as opposed to other ways that maybe it could also be said.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. All right, so a couple more personal questions that are not Greek related. So, what is your life like? You know, I know you're married, but everybody else may not know that. You know, your kids, where you live, all these kind of regular details so I can figure out where to put you in the country and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I am married to Aubrey. We've been married for almost 13 years. She's a labor doula. So she accompanies women who are going to the hospital to give birth. She goes with them and supports them and helps them. And you know, it's based on a Greek word, doulos, means servant, right? So she's basically a servant for women in labor, and she loves it. You know, she's mostly at home with the kids, and then you know, a couple times a month she's gone for 24 hours. So you know, it's an interesting work dynamic, and I'm thankful to have the flexibility to get to hang out with my boys during that time. Got two sons. Micah is 4, and Hezekiah, we call him Kai, is 1. And they are both crazy and awesome. And we like to run around and like to play soccer. We like to walk. We live in the middle of downtown Birmingham, so we walk everywhere. We are here just living the best life here in downtown Birmingham, Alabama.
Right. And you both are originally from Texas and went to school.
Kind of.
All right. So you're not from Texas originally? I thought you were originally from Texas.
Yeah, but from all over. So where
Okay.
Aubrey and I graduated from high school, we're high school sweethearts. We met in Amarillo, Texas, and that's where we graduated from high school. But I've lived in before that. I lived in 13 houses before I went to college.
I did not know that
around
about
that.
you. I'm
Yeah.
learning something about you now.
But yeah, then we both went to the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, and then came to Birmingham for grad school, and then ended up going to the Congo, DRC, where I taught at a university there. Aubrey taught elementary school there. And then when we moved back to the United States, we came back to Birmingham.
Awesome. That's really great. Also, we learned a couple things. Apparently, you grew up all over the place in 13 houses that I didn't even know. But what else? What are some other kind of things that you're into, like hobbies, sports, that kind of stuff that you like to geek out
Yeah.
about that's not Greek?
That's not Greek. Yeah, I do geek out about Greek, but I'm definitely like a hobbyist. I like to get into, I have a telescope. I really like space stuff. So I like to stargaze and read, know what's going on and find good telescope events. And I love this. I picked this up in Africa and now I'm like obsession level. I love international soccer. I'm a big Chelsea fan and U.S. men's national team soccer fan. So we have a lot of soccer on TV at our house. And Yeah, I like city things. I like to walk to restaurants and coffee shops and go on walks downtown. Music. I play guitar and piano and drum. My undergrad was in percussion, so like classical type percussion stuff. But yeah, I'm into like music culture as well. I go to a lot of shows. I have a record player. I collect records. Yeah, I think those are the big things.
That's most of what I know about you. I would say I kind of know you pretty well. The only thing you didn't mention was how much you're an Oklahoma and college football fan.
That
But
is true. Boomer
probably is
Sooner.
maybe understood if you went to Oklahoma. But you and I, we can kind of nerd out on games that happened 15 years ago together. So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah. And unfortunately, Chelsea is coming to UNC where I live to play in North Carolina here this summer, and Ryan's not going to be able to come up and visit us to go, but it
No,
would
we've
be
got
a
other
fun
big fun
event.
plans this summer, but
Yeah,
yeah, Chelsea's a dumpster fire right now. It'd be fun to come watch us lose to Wrexham.
right. All right. Well, this has been so fun getting to know you and getting to know more about like your life and how Kairos started and also what interests you with Greek and just study in general. So hopefully it's fun for our students and our listeners as well. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you know someone who wants to take Greek and Hebrew and wants to learn Greek from Ryan, like I said, we are doing really cool things with innovating how to teach Greek here at Kairos, and hopefully pretty soon we're going to have like our own textbook and things like that to go along with it. And Ryan is really a lot of the brainchild behind us pushing into these new exciting ways of teaching Greek and making it accessible at all levels for people who are interested. So this is a perfect way for you to jump in and get to learn Greek. And within just 36 weeks of instruction, you can learn the entire basic grammar and be ready to translate the Greek New Testament all by yourself. And so that is less than a year, a little bit more than half a year, you guys. So it doesn't take very much. And we would love to walk alongside you in that journey.
Oh yeah.
So we will see you next time here at Kairos Conversations.